Hi, everybody. This is Steve Tchaikovsky, W3SPC, with the York County Amateur Radio Society in Rock Hill, South Carolina. And I want to bring to everybody's attention a cool product that was born out of necessity that I've written over the last couple days and will soon actually be making available, hopefully, to other organizations that could benefit it or benefit from it as well. A little bit of backstory. I am the net manager for both the York County Amateur Radio Society, whom currently hosts two daily nets, actually every day at 8:30 p.m. on a local repeater, and then Monday through Friday during the COVID pandemic for health and welfare check-ins at 11 a.m. And then also I am the net manager for our local ARES organization, the York County ARES, or Amateur Radio Emergency Service, and we have a weekly net that we conduct as well. All of these nets, the net control stations, need to log their activity, all the check-ins, details of the check-ins, and provide monthly reports to me as the net manager, and then I report them up through the appropriate ARRL net manager due to us being National Traffic System listed nets. Net management and even logging has always kind of been a bit of a tedious process. Record keeping, you can lose your paper logs. If you log things in Excel or something, you've got to keep a track or keep up with an application. So been looking for quite some time for somebody to write me an app. Couldn't find it, so went ahead and put together an app that I'm pretty proud of. So I want to introduce to everybody what I've called the Palnetto Net Manager, and go ahead and walk you through first from a net control station's perspective some of the features and capabilities of this tool. So first, when you go to Palnetto, you can go ahead and log in. Access control is permitted, and every net control station that you have for any nets that you manage will have their unique logins. If you enter in your password incorrectly, it will tell you. All right, so you get in the main screen, and obviously the most common activity that you're going to do if you're in this tool and you're a net control station is actually log nets. So we hit new net. Now, first thing that you're going to see here is this drop down. It is possible that you could have multiple organizations that you are a net control station for. As long as those net control or those net organizations all use this net manager, you'd actually be presented with a pop down or a drop down list of each different organization that you could log a net for. So organizations are really just an entity or something that calls a net and has their nets managed through this tool. Earlier, I had stated that I'm the net manager for both the York County Amateur Radio Society as well as York County ARES. I actually have two different organizations defined right now in this test version. And then for each organization, you define who the net control stations are, and each net control station could actually be potentially a net controller for as many organizations as use the tool. In this dropdown, me as a net control station, I'll see the organizations that I am an authorized net control station for. So we'll go ahead and start a net. Now, you get prompted with this big warning when you hit start net because a couple things are going to happen when you hit this. Automatically, there's a new record in a database created that records the start time of this net. As soon as I hit this confirm button here, I actually have an active net running, and I've recorded the start time. Next thing that's going to happen is I get this pretty blank interface, and I'm ready to go ahead and start logging check-ins for this net. Now, if I hit this new net and confirmed it in error, if I hit cancel net, what'll actually happen is the net record gets removed, and all check-ins that I had actually put in place will automatically get deleted. So basically, all indication that this net ever happened will be removed. So make sure you don't do that if you actually are deliberately logging a net. If you do cancel it and then confirm the cancellation of that net, you've lost all the records for that net. So we'll go ahead and back in here and start a net. Now, one of the things that you have to do as a net control station, that shuffling around papers, pulling up different applications, so on and so forth, one thing that could be a little tedious to manage is the preamble, or kind of the standard script for your net. Made it real easy that an admin of an organization can go ahead and record and store the preamble for that organization's net. All net control stations will actually be able to go in and find that preamble pop up right in front of them. Now, when you want the preamble to disappear so you can go ahead and start recording them, just hit escape. You want to pop it back up again, very simple to do. Also available at your fingertips at all time is a central place for announcements for the net. Your net manager or any admin of the organization that you're a net controller for can go ahead and define a common set of announcements. No more having to distribute announcements by email, somebody having to record what the latest set of announcements were that they're supposed to be announcing on each net that they call, and get a common set of announcements for all your net control stations right from one place. All right, so if I'm in here, chances are what I want to do is actually start recording some check-ins for nets. It's done by simply hitting plus. You get a little pop-up that comes up, and I'm ready to start rolling. Now, a couple cool things happen as you start going through the check-ins. You'll see that automatically, if somebody has already checked in to the net that you're calling, basically checked into any net maintained by the organization whose net you're calling, you'll see a rapid search dropdown appear for you. And if you click on it, you'll go ahead and pre-populate in the call sign name and location boxes the pertinent information that was recorded at the previous check-in. You have the ability to record the station's call sign, their name, location, what mode they use to check in. By default, we've just got mixed, mobile, portable, and other. Coming soon, net admins or organization admins will actually be able to define their own modes. If your net has a comments portion or kind of a rag chew portion of the net, you can specify whether or not that this station checking in has comments for the net at this session or not. Simply done by checking the box or clearing the box. Check indicates that they indicated that they do have comments, would like to be included in the roundtable or rag chew. Clearing the box indicates that they're going to be out after formal, as many people say. And then also this net or this software was really designed for NTS or traffic nets. So we also have the ability to specify if traffic was brought to or handled by this station checking in. So listed, let's say he brought 2 pieces of traffic, and then he also has indicated that he's going to be taking a piece of traffic from somebody else. You can go ahead and indicate that information there. If there's any notes that you would like to have rapidly at your fingertip, you can go ahead and record those here. They don't persist with this user. They're just recorded as some notes for this particular check-in in this particular net session. As soon as I hit save, boom, I'm right back to start logging my next station. So let's say John was checking in. He's checking in from home, indicated he is going to stick around for comments. We've got Brandon up in Charlotte, indicated he's going to stick around for comments. Let's say we got Ted out in Indian Land checking in, but he's out driving around in the car, so he's going to be at his destination by the time we get to the Rag Chew. And we could just say he's driving around, let's say Chester. And we could even update location to Chester, and it would actually override the user's normal location just for the record of this particular net. When you're ready to get to the list of check-ins that you've gotten so far, or you want to be able to get back to that preamble, you can either hit cancel or just hit escape. Click right over there. You're right back to it, and you get details about who's checked in so far. So here we got these 4 stations. We see information about them, including those notes that we recorded. Now, one thing that's pretty cool that I find myself commonly doing is if you get a station who has not checked into your net before, let's say somebody's just just moved into the area or newly licensed or whatever the case may be. Notice when I start typing in that user's call sign, it doesn't appear. I could also use wildcards to get that drop down to populate, but in this case, there's no KO4s. So I just type in information. Now, let me show you something cool. If you're not, a good typist and you're worried about things looking right, we'll automatically fix the capitalization for you. Let's say he is portable today, but sticking around for comments. Notice automatically we've updated the information. Now, one of the cool things that happens any net control station, if you record a user logging into one of your organization's nets for the first time, we now just created a new record for this user. So the next time that somebody goes calling a net, that user automatically appears in the dropdown as a previous net participant. Now, another thing that happens sometimes is new user checked in. Maybe they've got an accent, or they were on the fringe of your repeater, or whatever the case may be, or if it's an HF net, there was some static. Let's see. Let me pick a call. And let's say I wasn't sure what the user's name was. I think he said his name was Don, but he might have said John. When we get a user record that appears, go ahead and hit this question mark. What's going to automatically happen is the tool is going to query QRZ for you. Oh, no, see, that's probably not who I was looking for. But name, address, email address, call sign information. If it doesn't look like what you actually thought, you can go in and edit. Okay. You also, anyway, so you can go ahead and update it. Let's say this was, Mike, and he checked in by Echolink. There we go. Updated it right there. So again, you start, just going back and forth through navigating. Got the user's call sign. But you can't remember what their names was. Oh, yeah. He said his name was James and Denver. You can go back and edit that record. There you go. And again, keep navigating back to your preamble. When you get to the point to make some announcements, you can pull those up right at the tip of your fingertip or right at the tip of your finger. Handle any traffic that your net's handling, so on and so forth. Again, each user's able to be modified. John came back and said, oh, I don't have any comments. Go back and modify that. Somebody brought some traffic to the net. Now, once you're done with your check-ins, if you do have a rag chew in your net, you'll notice that this column here, it looks like a little chat bubble, is the comments indicator. There's 3 possible values for the comments indicator. White means that the user has indicated they do have comments. Red indicates that they did not have comments. Find it real easy if you're going through your stations in roundtable order or just kind of in order they checked in, calling on them for comments. Generally, just look for the first white chat bubble, and that's who you're going to be calling on next. Now, you want to keep your place. Once that user has actually made their comments, let's go ahead and check it. That little bubble turns green. So now if I'm in the middle of calling a net, we're partway through the rag chew. I can't remember who I left off with next. Again, just find that first white chat bubble. We're good to go. Now, at this point, remember, if I hit canceled net and then I confirmed it, all of these records are going to get deleted. And all evidence of this net being recorded are gone. What I'll normally do at the completion of a net is I'm going to hit end net. And if I want to go ahead and confirm that, you'll notice that I can't log any additional check-ins. I can go back and see additional details if I'd like. I can actually even make changes to details. I just can't add any additional check-ins to the net. I do have the ability to go ahead and start a new one if I'd like. That would clear all this out. Now, one of the other capabilities that we've got with the tool is the ability to look at previous nets that have been recorded for an organization. All your net control stations, if they go to previous net, just choose the organization that they want to see previous nets for, and you could search for nets that were called by one of 2 ways, either by date, and then you could just simply choose the date that you want to actually see the nets that were called on for that organization, hit search, there they are. The other thing that I can do is actually search by net control stations. If I search by net control operator, I'll see a drop-down list of all of the authorized net control operators for this organization. Can search. Now, if I see a net that is interesting, like, oh yeah, okay, there was a 1 o'clock net on 10/14. Let me see some of the details. Who checked into that net? I see that there were 7 check-ins. I actually do see the duration that the net was recorded for as well. Let's go ahead and set the arrow there. And there we go. Here are all the check-ins for the net and all the information that was logged, including the one-time notes that were logged for that user. Hit the X and it brings you right back to your search results. You don't have to hit the X again, but that'll clear your search results if you're interested. Now, from a net controller's perspective, why do we maintain net logs? Well, we do it because most net managers will require that all their net control stations actually send them a monthly summary report. Standard summary or net reports for NTS listed nets is at some interval, usually it's monthly. You have to tell a net control station or tell your net manager how many nets that you actually called, how many total check-ins you had across all your nets, how many pieces of traffic were listed versus handled for all of your nets. Again, this is a total. And then the total duration of all the nets that you called. What'll happen here, as soon as any net control station hits reports, you'll default to your current month. You'll see your call sign. And if you do have the ability to call nets for multiple organizations, in this drop down, you can actually change whom's organization's nets you want to see a summary for. Now, every organization does have a net manager that's recorded in the system and managed by the system. All you have to do is hit the email button, and automatically the system is going to head and send this information to who is designated as the net manager, and you as the net control station will actually get carbon copied on it as well. Now, next, there's going to be some interesting information. This is all just a work in progress right now. I definitely need to spend a little more time and give this page a little more love, but you'll actually be able to see, and I've got this chart a little messed up, but by date, you'll be able to track trends of login activity or number of check-ins to this organization's nets. You'll be able to see a breakdown of the number of nets per net control station. And then you'll actually be able to see a chart that will show you for that. Actually, this is for all time right now, but I'm going to make it so you can customize a time period, all time, or set it to a certain month. You can actually see a breakdown statistically of who your active participants of your nets are. So from a net control operator's perspective, that's the basic function of this tool. Definitely going to be adding some more capabilities. I want to have the ability to allow you as a net control station at the end of your net, have the ability, if you do like to maintain paperwork for your own records that you're going to file away, download your net that you just called as a PDF so you can print it and file it away if you'd like. And also going to add that same ability here for any previous net. If you didn't want to download it and print it right away, if you take a net, you're going to have the ability very shortly to hit a button up here and automatically get a PDF file that you can use for your own purposes. Now, most of your users are not going to be showing or using the next function that I'm going to show, but there's some fantastic capabilities for net managers as well, or admins. Every organization actually allows you to define as many administrators for the net as you'd like. Admins get another page when they log in. Let me show you what that looks like. If you log in as a user who is an administrator of at least one organization, you'll see this admin button. Now, one of the things that we had said before was if you are a net control station and you have a login and you're an authorized net control station for multiple organizations that use this tool, you will see all of the organizations that you're an authorized net control station for appear. So again, I've got actually both YCARS and York County ARES defined as organizations in the system right now. W3SPC at YCARS.org. That user is a net controller for both. So I still can have just one login, but be able to do all of my net control functions for both of those organizations. When I want to log a net, I just now, if I'm a net controller for multiple orgs, just want to remember to choose which organization and ensure that the organization that I'm actually calling a net for is selected when I start a net. Probably one of the most common reasons why you'll be using the cancel net function. Let's say I was getting ready to call an Ares net. I can't just change this to Ares because I've already started a new net. But oh yeah, let me go in and cancel, blow away that net. Now I can go to Ares. Now again, to show, before I was logged in as a different net controller. I was only a net control station for one org. But we added N7JHK. He had never checked in to a YCARS net before. For some reason, something didn't save, but I'll look into that. But automatically, all additional net controllers now will be able to quickly pull all those previous check-ins, regardless of who logged them in originally. All right, so let's look at admin just a little bit. So again, first thing you're going to want to do is make sure that you've got the right organization that you're an administrator for selected. And this is where an admin can go in and define the preamble that'll be available to all of the net control stations calling a net for that organization. Very easy to administer, easy to edit. Interface for the management. Make that change, hit save. There's something going on with the text editor in here. That's the joy of copying and pasting it out of a PDF previously. But good to go. And now anybody calling a net, when they go to the preamble button or the announcement buttons, we'll see what was defined there. If you're an admin, this is also where you can go in and manage who the net control stations are for your organization. And you can add new ones. And I don't remember her email address right off the top of my head, but I would just hit email there. That'll create a new login account for this user. That user then, if they already, just needs to go, they can go in and log in and start calling nets and see previous nets and so on and so forth. Now, if that user already happened to have a user account anywhere in the palnetto management application, it'll actually just take this organization that is selected and add them as an authorized net control station for this net as well. You, as an admin, also have the ability to manage participants of the net. I'm going to add a delete button over here very shortly. So basically, these are typically all of the people who have previously called in to any of this organization's nets and the information about them. And you can edit any incorrect information from here. The other thing that you can do is if you kind of, as an admin, want to pre-stage, kind of as part of the initial setup, who typically logs in your net to make that information available to all your net control stations, you can go ahead and just add them a record here. Once a participant has a record here, automatically they're going to have that rapid search result to anybody calling in it. And as an admin, you can actually upload a logo for your organization as well. That logo is actually going to be used on some branding of the reports and PDFs that the tool is going to be able to generate here shortly. Uh, just to, again, kind of add some branding to output data that somebody typically is going to print and file away or save on their own system for a record. But anyway, that's it for now. Hopefully, this tool is going to make people's lives a little easier if you deal with nets, either as a net control station, a net manager, or you administer nets and have to distribute and help maintain announcements and so on and so forth. So more information can be obtained by shooting me an email, w3spc@ycars.org. Also, I'd love any feedback based on what you've seen so far. If you've got any suggestions, features that you would like to see, certainly let me know. I would love to take your feedback and build this, make this tool definitely something that'll make people's lives easier.